Hey there, Neil Fun Reaper. Looks like you're first on the list. So, LED driver. Phil, Ratnell. Phil. Oh, crikey, I'm supposed to send you an email too, Phil. Been working on the software, just everything's dragging on as always, so that you can get over that bug that you're having. Sorry about that, Phil. Now I can't even get my CH340s out. Oh, well, now I've got a lot of them out. Hey Jason, I've got lots of stuff to catch up with you too. Yep. I can't really be awake for more than 5 minutes without realizing I have got lots of things I've got to get done. Terry, Andrew, hey Miles, Catherine. It seems like I've got a pretty active crew tonight. Let's see, tiny 212s, no, we want 414s. Okay, this container is more for the microscope LED lamp, which I'm having to redesign slightly again. Just a couple of things that I want to change. Better off to get it done now before it goes into production rather than later when it's set. Yep, Jason, that's how it goes, isn't it? Like I said, I mean, you certainly, you try your best, you do your best, and you still feel like you fall short, even in the best of situations. But you still got to get up and you still got to deliver. Alright, so we're just building a new USB-C meter. We've got the 16x2 displays. These are the 3.3 volt ones. So they're basically the same as the 5 volt ones, except they have a bit of extra circuitry on the back to provide the boosting function. Because without that, then they don't really work so well. Okay, let's get some... Now building this is going to be the easy part. Adjusting the software, that's where it's going to get interesting. Hey Harold. Okay. Okay. Trying to think where I put my tiny 414s. Let's see, we need regulators. We need 603 caps. We need a resonator. We need microcontrollers. The 414s, wherever they may be. They should be around, but that doesn't mean anything. Should be and are frequently are not the same thing. Okay, box of other electronics. Hey 3X, hey Lexi. My favorite USB connector. That's the mini USB, not the micro USB. Some resistors. Let's see. No, you are the wrong sort. No, you're the wrong sort. Okay. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I've done with my 414s right now, but I'll find them. We'll just get things rolling. Yeah, see if I can get my microscope switcher to work tonight. Can't find the compass chip. What sort of a joke is this? the hell's constructive employment? I thought that's what this is. Hey there, Paul F. Harold, how's that chipmunk for the USB-C going? We're all pretty excited to get it so that we don't have to keep adapting our USB-A ones. This brings in the income. Maybe not as well as if I wore a short skirt and put on a high-pitched voice, but good enough. Wow, Paul. I was told all I need to do to be successful on YouTube was to just keep making videos. And of course I can tell you right now that's a load of complete and utter crap. It is not the number of videos you make, it's whether your audience actually finds it interesting or not. And whether there's enough of that audience out there. I am at about 1,050 videos these days. This is OnlyFans. Yeah, I'm at 1,053 or something like that. Anyway, it's a good number of videos, and yeah. So I think if there's anything that can be said about my not so hard work, is that quantity means nothing. And I know you're all here, but you also all mean nothing. The only thing that means anything is me rolling around in a McScrooge level of dollar notes. And successfully designing electronics. Oh, Jason, yeah, that is absolutely true. I'm definitely aware of why it hasn't, why the numbers are low. I just don't sort of, should I say I don't care enough, or I just don't care to put the energy into it at this point. At least I'll have plenty of material for later. Hey, come back here. Actually, on the tax front I do pretty good. I average it around about 18 cents a dollar after all things are done. I think 18 cents in the dollar is pretty good going for a tax rate. USB-C tester shows CD32 actually turns on 5 volts for the USB-C port as opposed to... What the hell was that? I swear I heard something then. Hey, Pro Engineer. Alright. So we see we need 10 nanofarad, 100 nanofarad. Better put the regulator in there. Wait, wrong connector. I was sitting there thinking, that's actually pretty low density for that connector. Then I realised why. High-pitched noise was heard in the background. Okay, it might have been someone beeping their horn or something stupid. Yeah, not much point trying to actually do the ground foot initially. If you try to do the ground one, you're just going to suffer. You can do them afterwards, like that. That's pretty perfect. Oh, Jim, right. A killer come to get me. That's alright. Yeah, with the microscope lights, I was not happy with the tactile switches I was using, and I couldn't find anything that was going to be any good. I did end up buying a bunch of micro switches, but I think they would just end up becoming random stock in my boxes. And I'm going to go with a 3-way navigator switch instead, so that will give you forwards, backwards, and then push, on, off, push. Yeah, anyway. So that kind of also then lets me have the on-off facility that I would like, because while I can obviously switch the power off at the power point, I would prefer to have it so that I can switch the light off directly if I want. Mind you, by switching it off that way, it's really all it's doing is just setting the PWM to 0, but obviously the microcontroller keeps running. Yeah, the Ed and Horse, but the microcontroller barely takes any power. The biggest power consumer will actually be the quiescent current of the 7805 regulator. And it's a bit of a chunky regulator, so you can probably expect about 5 milliamp, I think, quiescent on it. But I think it's tolerable. A little bit fluxy, but they're okay. At least the upside with surface mount gear is you can pretty much assemble it in almost any order you want. Your biggest restriction in your order of assembly tends to be, will this part obstruct me from being able to get access to the other part? Whereas on pin-through stuff, you got to go the lowest height first, or lowest profile first, so that when you flip the board over, things don't fall out. Because there's no board flipping going on in here. That's a terrible join. So we just add more solder to make it look official. That's some really bad joins there. We're going to allow it. They're good enough. Also went to the optometrist today, get myself some new glasses. The ones that I use for the close-up work when I'm like working on the phones but not under the microscope, they were just starting to get to the point where I had to back away too far and I was losing the ability to see what I was actually working on. Even though it was in focus, it was just too small. So, fortunately it was pretty cheap. I got 3 sets of glasses for only $105. Of course, I do have some medical benefits, but that alone's not going to be enough. What am I doing? I really need to get those regulators. Do I remove the tape? I generally don't, actually. I mean, the tape's only there to allow pick and place to grab it easier. I just tend to leave it there. I do have an astigmatism, yes. It's not bad, but I certainly do notice it now and then. If you want a big scare, buy some USB mini sockets on Mouse or on AliExpress and dissect them. Oh, yeah, I can imagine there'd be a huge difference in them. These ones I got from Farnell, Element 14, so I've had these for maybe a decade now. So I'm quite happy with them. Harold, do you still hand pick and place your stuff? I think you do, don't you? You just have your little containers of parts and you use a vacuum pen to pick and place everything manually? I seem to think you do. Hey, Rilla. Hey, Miles, let's see. Last time you went contacts cost you $1,200. Holy crap. Yeah, okay, yeah. I can understand some people having contacts is a life changer in a good way, but I'm definitely not in that camp. Hand solder pick and place with tweezers is not a... Oh wow, you actually use tweezers. Okay, that's impressive. I went with the vacuum pencil I made out an aquarium pump. I was very happy with how it worked, and that's how I used to do most of my assemblies, and then obviously throw it into the oven. That's why I've got, let's see. That's why I've got these contraptions. So these would be, I'd have my vacuum pen and just like pick, and then put it onto the board. And I had a thumb release on this side, so I'd hold the thumb down, it would pick it up, let the thumb go, it would drop it. It worked well, but I'd do a couple of devices a day and it'd drive me insane in the end. Yeah, so 4K 7s have to go there for the I2C. We've still got to put the INA 219 there. We've got a vapor phase oven. I haven't tried a vapor phase oven. I sort of just stuck with the pizza oven, modified pizza oven. That got me through. It did have its issues, I won't deny that. Most of the boards, well, I shouldn't say most, but let's say 50% of the boards did end up needing rework. Part of that blame was due to the fact that I was doing things like, oh, are these my 414s? God damn it, there's my 414s. Let's see, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was using things like TQFP chips, and of course it was so hard to cut your own stencils for TQFP. It's probably easier now that you can just get the stencils made with the board. But back then it was, because I was using a vinyl cutting machine to make my stencils. And it worked pretty good. More custom software. But overall my eyes are still pretty good, so thankfully, I don't, if I had to say, if all of a sudden lost glasses for some reason, there's it won't stop me driving, reading, or anything like that. I mean, sure, I'd like the font increased a little bit, but I'm usually pretty good. Oh yeah, that is true, Harold, yes. And I have had that happen, and yes, it's very upsetting when it happens, because you sit there and you're like, particularly if you've just got a whole bunch of 603 or smaller resistors or worse capacitors, all you can, as you know, all you can do is you just look at it for a little bit, then sweep it up and throw it in the bin, because you're not going to sort those out. Fortunately, I haven't had that happen too many times, but yeah, I think the worst I've ever had happen was when I used to do usually lots of 10 or 20 boards at a time. And once, when I was inserting that board into the reflow oven, I misjudged the lip of the tray, and it hit the edge of the oven, and the whole board just fell over and landed on the floor. And it was a complete write-off, so I think I gave up that day, just went and did something else. It was like, nope, I can't face this today. Hey Tech Nerd, Falcon Heavy launch in 43 minutes, that's going to be good, Ben, that's going to be good. Okay, this is an oversized LED. Rather, I'm putting a 805 on a 603 pad. I don't care. These yellow-green LEDs are my favorites. They've got enough brightness to make them good pilot lights that you can actually see during the daylight, but not so much that you're blinded when you look at them. What size are those beers? They are quite large. I can't remember what exact size they are. But you're right, they are very large. I guess what, with me, it's sort of, I sort of thought, well, I haven't crashed any traces into them yet, so I'm not going to bother changing them until such time that I have to squeeze a trace past. Certainly hope the Falcon Heavy doesn't become a fireball. At least an uncontrolled one. Controlled one's good. Uncontrolled, not good. Ah, this tip's too big for that. Naturally, I've got no 100 nanofarads left. Typical. Come on, I should have a container full of 100 nanofarad 16 volters or something similar to that. "100 nanofarad, 603, 16 volt. Knew I had a container." Jason drops a funny for no reason at all. Aha! Okay, that's horrendously off-center. So I need 1 microfarad for these ones. 2.2. Hey Nick Basic. Oh geez, Jason's getting into full dad joke mode. By the way, I know this is an incredibly inefficient way of doing this, but well, it's only sort of one of these that I do every week. Okay, 100 nanofarad needed there, and we'll stick a 100 there. That should cover those. See, but LED just switched to 1206. Yeah, and of course you can get a much higher brightness out of them if you have to too, of course. There was a couple of 1206s that I went with and I loved them. I used them as my indicators for model aircraft stuff. I'm trying to see which ones I got here. Yeah, these are them. Oh, I've got one left. But I could spot, what's this? 1206 high, so these will be 200 millicandelia. And the red ones, I've got a good number of the red ones. But yeah, these are beautiful LEDs to have. And I could spot them blinking from about 100 meters away. Which is what I needed at the time. Hey B-Blood. Yeah, 1206 is a nice size in general to handle, because if you don't have a microscope, yeah, you can very easily still continue to do surface mount work with them. For me now, 805 would be my absolute limit without a microscope, at least for reliable placement. We'll consider 603 to be an unreliable placement for now, for me. When I actually first started doing manufacturing, 805 was my size of preference, but I quickly dropped down to 603, mostly because 805 just seemed to suck up a lot of space on the circuit boards. Strangely enough, it felt like at times it was sucking up more than the 1206s. It doesn't, but you feel like you're getting less value for your space on an 805. But these are all just purely subjective things, they're not actual realities. Okay, so these are our I2C pull-ups. We want 4.7 for those. To see if I've got a 4.7 floating around here. Quite frankly, it doesn't even have to be dead on 4.7. Could be anything between 4.7 and 10. Yeah, that's true too, Harold, yeah, about that floating problem. It's like when you get those really small diodes that they have now on a lot of the devices, and yeah, they don't even sit down properly. They're always off kilter by, you know, up to 20-30 degrees on the vertical. Okay, so that's a USB to serial bridge. Oh, we need the 10 nanofarad on there. Look, I'm not 100% sure what that 10 nanofarad is used for in that chip. I know I have to have it there, but I'm not exactly sure of its purpose. Like I said, I'm thinking maybe it's some sort of flyback, charge pump rather. Or it could just be internal compensation. It's not like this is a max 323 or anything like that where you're boosting from 5 volts up to 15 volts or 10 volts. It's not that sort of purpose. Because in these situations we're just going from 5 volts to 5 volts. Or 3 volts to 5 volts. Okay, so we need a couple of 10 ohmers, another 10 nanofarad, we need a shunt, alright, 10 ohms, where are you? Got to turn the resistor around, otherwise the input channels won't be balanced properly. Got to make sure that the resistors face the same direction relative to the current flow. Also, poles full of crap. Feels ridiculous having a 10 nanofarad 16 volt cap there, like a 603 size. It's like you wouldn't even need 105 size. Ah, Jimbo, that's just gutter humor, toilet humor. Can't believe you stooped to such a crappy level. Hey, what are we talking about SDS Jason here? I haven't heard from him for a couple of days, or a week, I can't remember. Alright, so we need another 219, which I'm going to steal from another board. Because unfortunately there's a little bit of a global shortage of these chips. Typical. And I thought I had a large supply of them, but I thought wrong. I really thought I had a whole bunch of the SOT 238 chips, which is this size here. Turns out I have one. So that's bravo for personal delusion. Probably got struck by lightning again. Yeah. The scary thing about being struck by lightning is there's almost always complications afterwards. Shortage of iPhones might bring you some more business. Pfft, yeah, I don't know. Interesting to note that these boards do not have the input, or do they? No, they don't have the input sort of protection circuitry to the chip. I want to make. But the resistors are upside down relative to you. Come on, Chip, don't make me regret thank you. As I say, don't make me regret only going to 360 on the temperature there. Okay, we need the shunt. Where are you, shunts? Shunt, shunt, shunt. Oh, crikey. Down to my last 50 milliohm shunt. And naturally, of course, I made 2 orders over the weekend for electronic parts, and naturally I didn't get any more shunts. That's okay, plenty of time before the next set of boards turn up anyway. Yeah, Jim, it's a little bit tricky. There is fortunately the chamfer on the side, so that lets us get away with it a bit. Not a good solder join. Not ideal either. Yeah. See if we can get this one back to normal. Better, okay-ish. Hey, Admin Media. Alright, so we've got our INA, we've got our AVR, we've got our USB, we've got a regulator, we've got our data connection. And right, so now we're going to work out what I'm going to use for that. That there is the backlight LED resistor for the LCD. Now I'm going to go and say 150. I think 150 is going to be a little bit high. I think it's probably going to end up being more like it wants 100. But we'll start at 150 and work our way down. So normally I'm used to dealing with the 5 volt version of this. And obviously that's going to be different because this is now 3.3 version. So, you know, obviously I could calculate it, but I find many times it's just as easy to empirically check it. Hey Patrick. Hey Gustavo, not too bad now that I've sort of got the swing of things a bit. Like I've written the I2C library and the USB sort of transmit library, so I'm happy now with how I'm going with them. Okay, these are the contrast pair. Now normally you have a trim pot for these, but I'm too cheap and nasty for a trim pot. So I just I usually go 10K and 300. I know it seems a bit ridiculous that you can divide off such a small amount relative. So 10,000 and then you're only doing 300 at the bottom of that. But that's basically where I found the contrast looks best. But again, this being a 3.3 volt situation, it may end up different. But we're going to start with 300 or something close to that because that is something that we know. And and I may actually be compelled to... Ooh, wait, no, yeah, good, found my 300s. Nope. So it looks like 330s is what we're going to use. Like I said, there's plenty of things you can work out in the design phase, like when it's, you know, just a schematic and whatnot on the screen. But there's also a lot of things that you're better off, in many cases, picking a reasonable value and then just seeing how it pans out. Alright, now I gotta decide how I'm going to do the display. I only need about a 4 or 5 millimeters standoff, but I don't actually want to lock the parts under the display at this point, so I kind of want to do like that. The other way I could do it is like this. And just have it at right angles. I don't think I've got any sockets left for these. I'll have a look. I might, but I have my doubts. I could put it on a cable as well, but a cable's a pain in the backside. Oh wait, damn, pinned straight up the fingernail. Okay, I've got a strip, so that's good. Thank you, Patrick. For the trim pot, you only need one resistor. The other resistor of the divider is already in the display. What? What? How does that work? That's terrible schematics here. So I've always had the contrast. No, it's interesting. I've got a 1K there, 1K 300. That doesn't seem right. Yeah, I've always had the contrast as a divider here, and I've never known that I could just sort of use one resistor. Oh, well, things you can learn. Capaz. Okay, so we have to destruct all this one. It's okay, Greg, we're deliberately trying to keep you in the dark. Okay, this is not going to be physically a very sturdy solution, but it will allow me to remove the display as I need. Solder the socket on the LCD. Normally I've always gone the other way, but yeah, I think I might go for the socket on the LCD, and that way then I've just got straight headers on there. It makes things a little nicer. I'm kind of upset that I wasn't able to use my old 162s that I had, the DisplayTech 162s, because I've still got about 30 or 40 of them. I'm kind of yeah, kind of sad that I didn't get to do that. But, you know, this is a 3.3 solution, so it's something new for me. Now, the most important thing is getting it at the right angle initially. And that's close enough. These are nice little displays though. They've actually got the signal listed on it. Yeah, I'm not doing a very proper solder job on this at the moment. I'm just tacking them in. Cool Master, I've certainly had them long enough. I'm always impressed at how they're still entirely viable. Like you take one out and it just works. For the production version of this, I'm just going to be using nylon clip type standoffs, about 6 a quarter of an inch or 5mm or a quarter of an inch. I haven't decided which I can get away with yet. Okay. Personally, I was wanting to get the non-backlit version. I do prefer just the natural transflective ones, but I couldn't get them. At least I couldn't find anyone that had a 3.3 version of the transflective. Okay, actually, do I have any straight headers? It's going to be embarrassing if I... Come on. Right, well, as it turns out, I've got a full bag of those headers. And I've got a big bag of double row right angles. And actually I'm going to have more double row right angle. Just put that in the bag. Hey, nuts and proud. Machined pin headers. Also very nice, but useless. More right angle. Oh, come on. Seriously? I don't have any... Okay, well, it seems like I was worried about the wrong things being out of supply. That's okay, I can work this out. I've got my right angle one if I want. Damn it. It's pretty embarrassing not having... Ooh, ooh, ooh. Nah, damn it, you're a double. Oh, that's rather embarrassing indeed. Maybe if I get a hammer, flatten those out. How can I be out of straight pin headers? I mean, every person in the world has at least a box full of straight pin headers that they can never use. What a disaster. Seeing if it will let me do this. Oh, I can get away with it this way. It's not ideal, but I don't have any straight headers, and I can always pull these headers out later. Just make sure I actually can. Okay, yep. It's not the most ideal because I am covering up those resistors. Damn it! I'm one pin off too. Surely you got some... Gather up your resources here, Paul. Not all of these are required. I only need... I think the first 6... Maybe the last 6. Yeah, I think actually that will work. Because the middle 4 there, the nibble I don't think I use. Oh, naturally, of course, the dimwit prints the side that doesn't have the routing. Okay, let's have a look at the board itself. Let's return to the purity of the original. Okay. So yeah, first 6 are definitely and last 6, those two at the end there, that's the anode cathode for the, okay, so that's fine. Yep, first 6, last 6, that's going to work. Now, to make sure they stay straight, stick that in there. Now these are going to be really cheap, nasty pin headers, so they're actually going to be difficult to get them to solder nicely. If you do buy pin headers and you're going to be soldering them a lot, do invest the money into getting ones that have a good coating on them. Now hopefully these do solder okay, but a lot of the time they are very reluctant to take solder if they've been sitting around for a while. Yeah, that one seemed okay. But many a time you'll get it, you'll try to put the solder on them and it just balls up around them. And that's typically because the coating they have on them will have become oxidized. And then trying to get that oxide off is a major pain in the backside. So that, as you can see, that stains off way too far. So this is purely only for development process. Outside of that, it's definitely not going to be that grossly yeah. Like I said, purely for development. Kind of wonder if the backlight will fire up as soon as I plug it into USB. How are we going with the Falcon? How far have we got to go before that fires off? Let's see, everyday astronaut, everybody at SpaceX. Ah, here we go, SpaceX. We got 11 minutes. Okay. Yeah, let's see if this backlight goes. Alright, so we do have good contrast there. A bit hard for you to see it. It's because of, it's probably a little bit excessive, that contrast. But we can wind that back later. And the backlight seems to be, it's not the brightest, but I'm actually pretty happy with that, to be honest. You know what, actually that contrast maybe is a little excessive. Alright, I'm just not sure which way to go. So I don't know whether I need to go higher or lower. Kind of thinking maybe lower. So to get it to go lower, I will start by, let's see, we'll start by doubling it, which will bring us down to 165 ohms, and see how it looks. Temperature. Cheat and use a pot. Yeah, that's what I did about 15 years ago now. Just keep the resistor to ground. Okay. Why do you say ground? It's like... any chance that there's a variation between the models, that yours would be different to the ones mine will be? I've never done it to straight to ground before. Like I said, I always found it was needed to be up a little more than that, otherwise it was too washed out. But I will try to ground as soon as I can find out what I did with that strip of solder I just had. Damn it. Right, another stick of solder disappeared. Still not legal here. What's not legal here? It was someone being naughty. Great, perfect tombstoning. Let's just find a 0 ohm resistor and get it. Yeah, 10 will have to do. And it's got a itty bitty little bit of air on it. Well, if you do ground to the bottom portion of it, what do you use for the top side? Like I'm using 10k for the top. What do you use for that? I mean, the whole 10300 thing that I had, that was tuned based on the 162s. Okay, it makes no sweet FA difference. It's a little bit more contrasted, but kind of weird that it's showing all the blocks there, but it might be just because it's not initialized. T-6. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is see if I can even actually flash this. And for that I need a programmer. Oh, where did I put my programmer? Oh, what have I done? Oh, programmer, where are you? It doesn't matter how many programmers I make, I will always be one programmer short. Yep, always going to be one programmer short. I know where the other one is. It is upstairs, but I was kind of hoping not to have to walk. Looks like I'm going to have to walk. That's embarrassing. There should be another one of these around this room somewhere, but no idea. Okay. You can see we've got 4 minutes 14. Ah, just realised I have not programmed on the programming header for this. Not programmed on the program header? I have not, what do you call it, soldered on the programming header. There's Graham in here. How's it going, Graham? I didn't realise you hung out on that Discord channel, by the way. I thought you were basically confined to your own server. And lo behold, upshine the shiny Adam and the Ant. Sorry, I had to do that too. That was your own doing. I never actually thought of that until you mentioned it. Ach, niemand, Bijakak. Yeah, I don't have a helper like Caradog. Actually, I kind of wonder though. I think Graham is the helper and Caradog is the one that actually really runs the place. Okay, we're going to beef these up a little bit because I am going to be abusing them with... Okay, that's the ground pin, that's why it was sticking a little bit. I need to develop a cider thing here as well. But like I said, I've got to get drug-free cider. My wife most certainly is not for that. She's for other things. Other far more entertaining things. Like dinner. Just kidding. Just kidding. Actually, no, she does do that. We used to cook dinner 50-50, and then over the years I started to become lazy. I'm sorry, that's basically the only way I can say it. I became lazy and I didn't and she did. Okay. T130, I'm watching it thankfully on here. We're going to go quad display. Everyone can see their chat, I don't care. Except chat's in the way. I did have a local person who I could have enjoyed having as a support, but unfortunately things just didn't work out that way. Already up to date? Oh, that's a load of crap. Oh, wait, that's right. Firmware T414. Okay. Oh, I forgot about that. Alright, we're going to switch over to the mission. Oh, look, there's Graham there. Yeah, good job, buddy. I apologise for the subtitles. Schematics. Okay, yeah, unfortunately subtitles for me are a necessity due to hearing issues. Go, man, go. Oh, wow. Oh. That is a beast of a rocket. And it just moves off that pad so quickly. Yes, this is live. Yeah, just the rate of which that Falcon Heavy gets out of there is incredible. 30 seconds behind. Let's see if I can Playback speed. I gotta say, one thing with SpaceX is they've really, or at least I think it's them, or maybe it's NASA, but the investment in the tracking optics and cameras, I just cannot get over it. Like there was that one launch that they had where you were able to see from the ground the separation, reignition, all that sort of stuff, and that was just like, I cannot believe we are now at the point where we can visually see such. Oh shit! Oh, we're going right. Okay. Oh no, Miles, it's not over until it's over. This will be a bit jittery because of the fact that I'm uploading at 1080 60, which is using up most of my throughput on the line. Wow, it's been 10 minutes, 2 minutes already. Wow, that's quick. Yeah, I think we're all looking forward to seeing those. I want to see if the center booster makes it this time. That was the only fly in the ointment with the first launch, is how we didn't get the center boost. That was a bit asymmetrical then. Yeah, we've got to thank Mr. Turnbull for taking a crowbar to the knees of Australia's internet future and leaving us a crippled nation for the next 60 years. You fucking bastard. The worst thing is we ended up with something that was more expensive, has to be replaced again already anyway, took longer, is slower. I can't believe, if there was ever to be something for treason towards a country, then I think what they did to our NBN or broadband network was pretty damn close to treason. Nuts and proud, we do. It's a piece of crap. I don't even know if I can get fiber to the house here, and I don't even know if that's kind of going to be like, if that's kind of going to be like putting a 9-inch diff on the back of a 4-cylinder engine. Yeah, it's like, is there much point? Hey, Jim, sorry. Okay, so shame we've got the exhaust trash on the cameras on the descending sides. Hopefully they'll clear off though once it comes into the thicker atmosphere. I mean, I gotta admit, we lucked out up here with our NBN because I do get fiber to the node and I do get the 100 megabit per second fully. Unfortunately, I got tricked out of my own stupidity. I went for a $20 saving and then I didn't realize I was actually being led into disconnecting from my 100/40 and down to a 100/20. And I am regretful of that because I certainly many a time can do with the 40 megabit per second upload. But unfortunately, I've tried with the provider and they said, no, we're not giving that back. I was like, God damn it. I don't know if there's any audio of this. Is probably not, because is any of that audio coming through? Probably not. Ah, jeez, come on. Someone get up there and clean those cameras. Oh, they're not going to bother with the center core. Greg, I'm not too worried about for this one. For SpaceX, I'm willing to accept it. Should have used Rainix. I'm envious of their triple panel setups. That'd be nice to have one of those setups. I've got a dual panel. I've got the 27-inch dual Dell Ultra Sharp. With a triple panel would be nice. Can I change before? I can, Tony, but I'm not sure it's ultimately going to be worth it enough. Okay, so we've got our first burn going on there. Alright, we've got the visuals. Oh, dual. Oh, cool. Oh, it looks like they cleared them with one of them. Or they had an alternative camera. Oh, great, we're both clear. At least the nice thing about these sort of rockets is you know they're definitely going to land. You always know they're going to land. I guess the question is, will they land appropriately? God damn, that is a shot. Shame about the clouds. Otherwise that would be spectacular. Yeah, here they come. Oh, wow. You know the scene in Star Wars, I think the second bad thing where they had the spaceship landing after they nearly crashed it? This is what reminds me of. This or Serenity, Firefly. Okay, we've got one. Where's the other one? Oh, there it is. Unbelievable. Yeah, they just make it look like it's just everyday stuff. Damn. No, Starlink probably won't do me any better in this case. That's satisfying. I know a lot of people hate on Elon, fair enough. I can understand why in some places, but you got to admit that, you know, at least he's the SpaceX thing, which I agree is predominantly other engineers, but he put it together. I see that one on the backfield there is looking a little bit tilted over. Anyway, that's good. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled crash on my desk. Okay. Depends what you're comparing it to, Arilla. I mean, like, my folks, when they were living out at Ravenswood, which is a middle of nowhere place, about 100 k's from here, Starlink would have kicked the ass of anything else that would have been provided. I mean, they basically have been having to use the muster satellites, and it was pretty atrocious. The monthly allowances was rotten, and yeah, Starlink is definitely a step up for them. The booster just fell over. Oh, really? Oh no, the booster fell over. God damn it. Just as I switched away. Alright, let's get on with this then, since I missed the fun. I thought it was sitting a little bit tilted there. Let's see, history, grep, path. Okay, I gotta put this into my bash shell. There you are, Smeller. Was it a joke? Oh, damn it, man. You're sucking me in pretty good there. I was hungover from party last night. Yeah, I mean, I totally would have believed you, because a number of times, like with the Starship, where they'd come down, they'd get the landing, and then the Starship would just sort of like, go, no, I'm not sticking up. Well done, you got me. Alright, so the chip program's fine, but obviously we haven't done anything with the LCD panel. What it's doing at the moment is the old, where is it? I'm using what? I've got another spare board. I'm using the 8x2 LCD on the firmware that I just flashed onto that. So now we've got to change it to use the LCD. And that's going to be tricky because I do not actually have code for that. Schematics. So we need to make another firmware thing. Okay. Let's see. See you, B-Blood. Okay. Oh, we have to take the LCD code that we know doesn't work, bring it across, and see if we can actually make it work for this. I've got to find that code now. I gotta remember where I last used it. I think with the drying oven. Board dryer. Okay. Okay. I have no idea why you'd be getting kernel issues, I'm sorry. My brain is definitely not in the mood for that right now. Gotta add the please bro, yep. Okay, so this is all my I2C code that I wrote for the new chip. There's a few extra bits and pieces, but we don't need these bits anymore. We'll get them out of the way so that they don't cause confusion. Yeah, GVim is just a GUI version of normal Vim. I use it because it's got a couple of little tweaks that are a bit, they're handy. Okay, and we'll get rid of this. Okay, so now the code as it stands will still cause troubles. Each to their own. Some people like Nano, some like Vim. I'm a Vim person. Some like Emacs. They're not humans. Okay, so a lot of this code that you can see here is all about making the code as generic as possible. This is written by Flurry, and yeah, it's code that's lasted a very long time. It's been good code, but it doesn't apply to what we're using now. But we might actually be able to see if we can do this. I'm just trying to see, it's this sort of stuff that I have that changes dramatically between the original series AVRs and the new AVRs. And I'm just got to try and work out what they're doing here and whether it's going to be easier for me to write from scratch or whether to modify. So LCD I/O mode is probably what we're going to be doing. Hey, sweetie. You going to sleep and the kids?
They're still just outside.
Who?
The twins are.
Oh, the twinniettes, yeah.
Micro's in with me.
Okay, yep.
I haven't given the wild ones any supper.
Okay, so I'll give them some supper. Yeah, what are we looking at? Yeah, midnight, okay. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, too much sugar? Oh no, bugger. Okay. See you, Jason. See, there's some arbitrary sort of assembly code in here, which probably we don't need to worry about. This sort of stuff shouldn't be a problem because the whole LCD high-low, all that sort of stuff, that is easy enough for us to modify. It's more the assembly stuff and then the way this is all done here. See, like this DDR LCD, that has to be changed to suit the new style of the port driving. Yeah, this is probably going to end up being a bit more of a rewrite than I'm planning, so I probably won't do it on stream. And it looks like I'm going to have to go out there and sort out the various kids and whatnot. And I'm probably going to cut it down to just be the one model that I'm using. Yeah, so we use the HD 44780 in this display. So wherever that shows up, we can basically, yeah. So that's interesting. Why have I done that? Display length, visible characters per line display. That should be 16. And we're going to go I/O port mode. And like all this stuff, it's going to have to be all up and changed. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to have to go and just sit down and modify, cut, paste, modify, tweak. It's going to be another day-long project, I would say, to modify this code. There's nothing really wrong with the code. It works very well. It's just that because of the way that everything changed going from Series 0 to Series 1, it's no longer a simple what? Yeah, that's right. It's no longer a simple search replace type thing. Like the whole format in which you assign and read the ports is different now. Are you using ARM assembler? No, I'm not. No. I do use that for some of my other projects, things like the Tiny 5 through the Tiny 10, the little SOT 23.6 chips, they're 6-pin legs. They're very nice devices to work on, very easy to use, and for those I'll do assembly. Now, iPad Pro 12.9, which had a bad USB port, changed it, but now only connects to one side. 50% chance that the port itself that you were sold is dodgy. 50% chance that one of the lines is not connected. Oh, it's not ARM assembly, no, AVR. Series 0... What? Hey, Noosacat. So yeah, this is Series 1 Attiny414s, and they're basically more like a pick in many ways. Oh well, yeah, I think it's midnight. That's taking me a little longer than I wanted, as usual. So I'm gonna have to do that code else another time. I'm sorry. But at least it's up and running. We've got a backlight. Let's see, how good is that backlight? Yeah, it's pretty good. You gotta appreciate how good this camera is and that it compensates for losing about 100 watts of lighting, and it still does a pretty good job. Maybe I should just do all my videos like this in the dark. Okay, alright, I'm out of here. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching the rocket launch and land for me. Thanks for trolling me, making me think it fell over after I switched away. And I don't think I will stream the development of the code for this. Rather, I will just simply get it done, upload it, and then we can go from there. So, I'm out of here. You all take care. I'll see you next time.